Here she is. She is huge. I mean, she's beyond huge. So I'm gonna have to get to cleaning her. I mean, she is big. By no means is she small. So clean her out and then see how much she weighs and begin the drag down. That's the only way to do it. So anyway, I gotta get started. So here I am. Yeah, this was a wild ride. I decided to do a voiceover because I sounded like a rambling fool trying to talk about this elk. She is so big. Yeah, I cleaned her all myself. She's really large. She turned out at the processor she was 288 pounds. That for me is enormous. Anyway, I cut the front legs off. That's what you'll notice here is that her front legs are actually missing at the knee. I wish I would have cut her back legs off at the knee as well. It would have made the hauling just, you know, that much more lighter. Granted, it's only a couple pounds, but nonetheless, it would have been easier. I shot her at the top of the mountain, and I had to drag her that direction. It was a long drag. Took about 3 hours, but I did it. Even now, I'm just stoked. It's so awesome. I was able to pull it off. You know, a lot of work. So, here, I know, I'm taking video. So get up here, Caleb, and I'll show you. So this is the cow. This trailer's 10 feet long, and I'm standing at the tongue. She's huge. It's a huge cow. This is the one that I hauled out by myself today. At the very end, my wife helped me load it after I got off the mountain. I shot it at 10 o'clock, and it's 4 p.m. I mean, she is big. Look at all that tasty meat. Yum, yum, yum. Oh man, it was a rough drag too. I got branches and thorns in her. Anyhow, she's enormous. That's how big she is compared to Caleb. Good cow. Okay, so here you go. You're moving me. Okay, so I'm doing another voiceover here on how the pulley system works. That's me sitting down in my living room. And that is my 5-year-old son. Yeah, that's right. He's 5 years old. Just to prove the point on how the pulley system works, you know, I've got the straps wrapped around my legs, and what I've also got is I have the I'm sitting on a book to imitate what it would be like trying to pull an elk across the snow. He couldn't pull me just across the dry carpet. The friction was just too high. One thing I do want to point out here, though, is that if you notice, as he pulls, he's pulling a lot of rope and moving me very little. That's how these pulley systems work. You know, it's a 4-to-1 ratio pulley means for every 4 feet of rope that you pull, the load will move 1 foot. And so keep in mind, if you ever do this, you know, and you want to tow something a long way after you hook up the pulleys, you're going to have a lot of rope. I mean, that's just plain and simple. That's just how it works. But sure enough, he does it. And just for the record, I'm 165 pounds, and he's 5 years old. I mean, look at him go. He just trucks me right across the carpet. For me, doing an elk, it was a little faster than that. I can pull a lot more weight. It definitely was not this slow. But it works out well. So that's how it works. It's pretty slick.
I need to show you how to sit on the book. No.
So what I did is
she's stepping on it, huh?
I swapped and I put my son on the book, and then I started dragging just to illustrate how much rope I'm really pulling and how little he's moving. This is definitely one of the things you're going to have to keep track of if you do something like this. You know, my rope is probably only 80 feet long, and so the other disadvantage is you have to have something to tie off to. If you don't have something to tie off to, then, well, you don't have a way to connect on and drag the elk out. You know, and if you haven't clued in yet, this is in Utah. This is down at the Myers Game Processing. I didn't know how to process the elk. And there he is cussing me out, trying to get inside because he's gonna quit in an hour. I don't know why he was in such a hurry, but my son is kind of squeamish. He loves the elk meat. It tastes really great. Um, I just want to conclude here saying that I am going to complete a part 4. I plan on going into the gun costs, all of the stats, how much meat I got out of this elk as far as pound weight. I'll also do the first elk in addition to this elk. And I'll make some recommendations, in part 5. This has been a long journey. It's been over a year. I mean, I can't tell you even how excited I am that I was able to pull this off. But nonetheless, if you don't make it to part 5, I'll just do a little conclusion here. I don't recommend doing this by yourself. Uh, if you're going to drag it out whole, I wouldn't recommend that. I'll go into further detail in the conclusion, but if you don't make it there, that's my recommendation. If you're going to go along, then definitely you'll want to look at quartering up or deboning it out. Um, it was exciting. It was a long day. My second elk ever, my first one that I ever got by myself, but now I can definitely say that I've done it. I've been there, and it was well worth the ride. Anyway, we'll see you in part 5.